Let's get it rocking.
All right. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the NFC East Podcast. I am very glad that the whole squad is here today. We've got Joey representing the Cowboys fans in his Colts jersey this week. Little foreshadowing for this week's episode. And then we got Dan representing the Eagles fans over there. And is that a Fletcher Cox jersey right there?
You damn right. Because why? Because Brandon Graham came back, and we got to rep the old heads, bro.
You guys might need Fletcher Cox too.
Freaking cooking, bro. Let's get it rocking.
But yeah, so we've got top 10 Tuesdays. This is one of my favorite things that we like to do. You can kind of recap the week and, reevaluate who you think the best teams in the NFL are. This is super fun. This week, I will not be kicking it off. That's going to be Dan. So Dan, why don't you lead us off as I get us ready right here by getting the graphics all in order. All right, your list is now on the screen, and you are ready to present whenever you feel fit.
So it's going down, as you guys can see, of course. The Chiefs absolutely clapped the Commanders, 38-7.
Are you going
absolutely
first Are you going first? Or do
you want first? Yeah, we're going to go first. We're going to go, because, it's the obvious first,
Okay, obvious first.
You want to go 10? We'll go 10.
Start off at 10.
All right, so we got the Bolts, the Chargers. You know what I'm saying? Harbaugh's team is not too shabby, and of course it hurt me because basically my childhood quarterback, I got his shoulder absolutely eviscerated and is not going to be playing the rest of the season at all. But that's not even the point. The point is huh?
You mean like your high school quarterback?
He came in 20? Oh, he came in 2016. My fault. I thought he came in earlier than that. My fault. I went through the horrendous era of Sam Bradford and shit like that. So I completely forgot about that section of my life. It was pretty depressing.
Forgettable part. Keep going.
So what's it called? The Chargers coming out the way they did against a Vikings defense that the Eagles had the hard time and everything like that. I had to give that respect that they were really dicing them up for for what they had, I guess, schemed up, being what I think Quentin Johnston played but didn't do so hot. McConkey was cooking. All these other starters or all these other players that really were going off against them. So it's I'm gonna give them the respect there. I thought that was pretty solid. Coming up next, the Patriots, they're pretty solid. Okay, I don't think I've had them in in my picks or in my top 10 for a hot minute. They've been more of my honorable mentions, I believe. But now I'm going to give them that respect. They've been cooking. They're doing what they got to do. Drake May, I'll give Joey that respect that he is a pretty solid quarterback right now. I just don't
best deep thrower in the league right now.
I just don't like what they have for the run game. I don't like that these receivers that don't really have any film on them. All I'm gonna say is at one point we thought Travis Fulgham was gonna be fantastic, and then what happened? They got film on him, and he is not in the league anymore. So it's now we're gonna see what is it gonna take for Booty, Diggs, Hunter Henry, and this offense to actually start to get film on them, and then they start proving that more. Then of course I'll bring them up more, but I can't really give them more than 9 right now. Next, the Packers. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't think, right, that the Packers really won that game. I think the Steelers lost that game personally. And watching that whole scheme, it was things were just piling up over and over and over and over again. They weren't really getting overwhelmed. They weren't really allowing a bunch of ish to really happen. It was what's it called? Of course, Parsons got pressure periodically. But Rodgers was not throwing a lot of good balls in a sense. What's it called? Shots to DK or Jonnu Smith, a quick dump off, because Parsons is probably 6 yards away from him and he's just throwing it away. And it's to me, it was the Steelers weren't playing like they normally do. Plus a lot of the extra pushing and extra physicality. It's you start throwing yourself off as a team. So, but I'm gonna give the Packers their respect. They did cook a really good defense, or a really good defense, even though I believe right now they're the most expensive defense with the worst production right now. So take that for what you will, Joey, Mr. number 32 over 32 or whatever, how you mentioned in the last video.
Yeah.
Next going the Rams.
Number 7. Sorry, I figured I'll add that for you moving forward.
Appreciate you. Number 7, the Rams. Even though they had a bye this week, they're still the Rams. I'm gonna give them that respect. Can't really take them out of where they're at. It's just other teams have been moving up because of their production this week. So of course, when you go on the bye, I really look at it like you're gonna go back because you don't really know what type of team you are after the bye. You might say you're so good, but listen, I already experienced 2023. When we came out of the bye, we were absolutely horrible. So, and that's just my thing. So, but the Rams are the Rams, and that's basically where I have them there. Now, the Broncos.
Number 5. Number 5.
Oh, yeah, number 5. Thank you. The Broncos. For me, Bo Nix, fire. RJ Harvey, right? Joey, you were big on him for a hot minute. And I literally am the one guy. I was like, yo, fantasy. There was a part of me. I was like, this guy is going to go off on a game. And who is he going to do it against? And it was a feeling in my chest. It was going to be against the Cowboys. And that's how I won a couple of my fantasy.
It's not really a hot take because everybody's going off against
Let him
us.
go. Let him keep going. We know your defense.
And then also, too, it's like the response.
I want to make a side note here. This is just totally off topic, but Caleb Williams, he has 4 pass touchdowns against Dallas. I think the rest of the league, he has like 3. Well, something like that. Something stupid like that.
All right, save it for the response.
Okay.
You'll have your chance.
Also, too, another thing is it's like Dak has been extremely well against passing in all schemes. And now he has more interceptions than Jalen Hurts. So it's like I'm going to give that aspect to the Broncos, the respect to the Broncos defense to be able to like fluster an offense. Like I said, the best offense versus the best defense, and that best defense made an offense flustered. You got to give him the flowers. I'm gonna give that respect. And Bo Nix, for the situation that he's in, he's making it happen with Evan Ingram, Cortland Sutton. Was it Vele? I think Vele's still there, and then that rookie they got
traded to the Saints.
Troy Franklin.
Okay. Franklin, yeah. Then what's it called? So it's like they got Cortland Sutton. Of course, he's still like a solid weapon, but it's like they're actually able to make it happen. With,
Franklin went off and Harvey went off.
Yeah.
So, but still, quality. I know Sutton got some good passes and shit like that to him, but it was like it wasn't as
towards
like
the end of the game.
Towards
the end of the game, they figured out they could just pick on Bridges, and they did that the rest of the game. And they were like every reception went to your guy Sutton. After that, they just picked on that bum corner we got.
All right, I messed up the last number. This one is number 5. Unless if you had anything else to say.
No.
Number 5.
So now, going on, it's the Birds. We're back in the top 5, how I see it. Why? Because we did what we were supposed to do, finally. Coming back, showing out, how we should have. I know, for example, what's it called? The whole Scatterboo situation and everything like that. And it's like, of course, I'm not going to sit here. Scott, I didn't give you no grief. I didn't go crazy, go stupid about the Eagles win. Why? Because that's what should have happened. That's what we should have been doing, whatever the case is. And that's why it's like, I'm not going to be one of those Eagles fans that are just like, oh my God, you see, we're back. It's like, no, we're back to what we should be doing. Now it's like, how do we go through the bye and then exceed that? So it's like, there is not a lot of teams in the NFC that, if we're doing what we need to do, can beat us and can put us out in the playoffs. So if that's the case, like, we're definitely a top 5 power ranking team overall, 100%.
Okay.
Let's see. Number 4, right, Scotty?
Number 4.
All right, number 4. I got the Colts. Like, I got to give them their flowers, bro. Like, they're pretty good.
Do you watch football?
Yes, I do watch football, clearly. So, the Colts are definitely Joey's number 1. I could already tell. I didn't get to see the ish yet, but what's it called? The Colts, number 4, 100%. And I'm going to give them that respect. But it's like, if the Eagles decided to play the Jets and we cooked them the way the Colts cooked the Titans, I would be sitting here in absolute fire, getting roasted by everybody saying, "Congrats, you beat the Jets." Well, if the Colts are such a great team, right? And I'm gonna give them 4 because they are showing up and showing out, but they lost to a playoff team like the Rams.
It's their only loss of the season.
Just squeezed it out against the Broncos. That it's
The
like
Broncos are undefeated versus NFC
Here,
East.
well, we can go back and forth with the who beat who because I got something special for you guys this week. But Dan, state your case. Why are they number 4?
So number 4, awesome. Jonathan Taylor, personally, MVP season. This dude's cooking. I have no issue, no problem. Daniel Jones is performing above everybody's standard, and I have absolutely all respect for him right now. That's basically my whole concept of it. And the defense is actually able to the defense is actually well put together. And it's not like, you're looking for this one star player that's doing it. It's like everybody as a collective is making that defense really good. So that's why I have the Colts at 4. Next, the Lions. The Lions are gonna go on a bye, but I feel like they're still gonna come back and be the Lions. Physical, wanting to run the ball. Amon-Ra St. Brown, being a little zesty after every catch. That's just them. That's just what they do. That's just how it is. And I don't see them stopping really from that. All of their players, I believe, are healthy on defense still. So there's nothing really right now at this moment with how the Lions have been playing and what they've been doing to make me feel like they stopped.
Okay.
Coming at number 2.
Number 2.
Yeah, I have the Bills. And the reason why the Bills here now is because when the Bills have a bye, Joey, let's be for real here. When the Bills come off a bye and they have a game the way they just had it against the Panthers, a streak happens with them where it's going to slowly digress as the season goes on. But as of right now, they are that top dog team who's able to go and have productive play and could be something, of course, in the playoffs. And it's like, I'm curious now if they could keep the fire or is it going to die out like it normally does? And that's why they're my number 2. And then number 1, the Chiefs.
Number 1.
They just took the Commanders. They absolutely handled their business. And it's Mahomes. Like, you really can't count on Mahomes right now. And the fact that he's really starting to come back in his division right now. But it's kind of crazy just because I think other teams besides the Raiders are winning. So it's going to be a rough one.
Yeah. All right, guys. That was Dan's list. And before we get in any more jabs, first, Joey, you got to give your list next. So let me prepare by popping your list up on the screen right here and getting that ready. And you are good to present. Joey, why don't you hit us with your top 10, starting with your number 10?
Danny, my number 10 team, I have the Tampa Bay Bucks. And Danny, did you have the Bucks on your list?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Yeah, no Bucks on Dan's list.
I didn't have the Bucks.
That's pretty interesting. I mean, at one point a couple weeks ago, we had them as a top 3 to 5 team. I still view them pretty positively, but I am reacting to the Mike Evans injury and then no Bucky, no Chris Godwin. So waiting to see those guys come back. But for now, I got to put them at 10. I did not want to leave them off the list, though. I'll say that.
Okay. Number 9.
I got the Denver Broncos, and I feel like this might be a little too low on them, and I think I want to swap them with my number 7 team. You'll later find out. But the Broncos, to me, look like a complete team, offense, defense. They were good at everything, and I learned that Sunday. They put it all together. Then again, worst defense in football. Tough to know how real. I got to give them credit though. They're undefeated versus the NFC East so far. I think they only have to play the Commanders, right? They haven't played them yet.
Yeah, they haven't played them.
But they've owned our division, and I got to give them credit. We've been sleeping on them because none of us have had them in our list until this week. So I got them at 9, but I think
go ahead.
I got them at 9, but I think I'd rather put them at 7 and then bump my 7 and 8 teams down.
Okay. So,
no, go ahead.
Number 8.
Number 8, I got the Buffalo Bills. They had a great week against the Panthers, but I'm going to keep in mind with the context, it's the Panthers. It was Andy Dalton. So I kind of expected what we saw there. They are missing a number one receiver on their offense. You got to stop James Cook. He beat the Bills. We all know that. What had happened on Sunday, James Cook went off. So that's kind of what happens when you let that happen. It's just a recipe for the Bills. You got to stop James Cook. Number seven. I got the Green Bay Packers. This is the team that I would want to bump down. I think I would bump the Packers and Bills down a spot, but the Broncos at 7. I think that's the right spot for them.
Okay.
But we can't make that adjustment now. We're already in this. And Green Bay dominated. They dominated the Steelers this week. Jordan Love had his best game of the year, I'd say. They got Christian Watson back. He played a lot more than I expected. Matthew Golden absolutely disappeared, but I can't be surprised. Matthew Golden hasn't had a 100-yard receiving game since he was a freshman at Houston in college, just to give you an idea of how bad that pick was. So, the Packers, they have a bunch of number 2s, like we know. And, this is what I guess the addition of Christian Watson will definitely help them offensively. Their defense still hasn't showed me everything I want to see, but they dismantled – I guess we could say a bad Steelers defense. They've been getting killed by everybody at this point, and I was disappointed for Aaron Rodgers not to get that W.
Number 6.
Number 6, I got the Seattle Seahawks. This is I bumped them down a bit. Kind of feel like I had to do it. I like them. I'm higher on them than most of you guys, I think. I would rather have them in my top 5, but for now I'm leaving them at 6. I like what Sam Darnold's doing. I like Jackson, Smith, and Jigba. And their defense is disgusting, and they have a pretty easy schedule coming up. So I'm really interested to see how them and the Rams shake out for their division going forward. But for now, I got them at 6, just for the list. So these people don't get mad. That's kind of why I did it.
Number 5.
Number 5, I have the New England Patriots. I think they are by far better than the Bills. I think Drake May is the clear MVP, runaway candidate right now. Because we know the MVP is a QB award, so for that matter, Drake May should be getting that award, with my opinion, from what I've seen him do. He's disgusting. Easily a top 3 quarterback, probably number 1 quarterback. I mean, him and Mahomes, you pick your pick with those two. But Drake, I'm just really impressed with Drake May, and I'm looking forward to seeing them play with some better teams, but I got to keep them as a top 5 team until otherwise.
Number 4.
Number 4, I have the Detroit Lions. I know Packers fans are going to tell me week 1 they beat the Lions, but that was week 1. I think we all know who the Lions are offensively. They are a juggernaut, and they have been playing like that. And their defense is healthier this year, so I'm interested to see if maybe this is the year the Lions put it all together.
Number 3.
Number 3, I have the Los Angeles Rams. Pretty obvious why. I think they are the best team in the NFC right now. I think their loss to the Eagles was a fluke. So I discount that loss. Matthew Stafford is Matthew Stafford, and they're doing this without Puka, so got to give the Rams my flowers. I was definitely hesitant to do that preseason, but they're kind of forcing my hand here. Got to put them at 3.
Number 2.
Number 2, I have the Kansas City Chiefs. They look like one of the best teams in football, but to me, they look like the second best team in football. Rashee Rice has been a problem since he's returned. He averages like 20 points per game, and their offense is just a problem now. They're back to being the Chiefs. The Chiefs are the Chiefs, and for that reason, I got them at 2.
Number 1.
Number 1, I have the best team in football, the Indianapolis Colts, as you can tell by the jersey.
2 weeks in a row.
Jonathan, 2 weeks in a row, I have the Colts at 1. They just look like a complete football team, just like the Chiefs. Daniel Jones has endless weapons, it appears, on offense. And then when you are aided by what Jonathan Taylor's doing, carrying the rock, I mean, it's pretty easy to see why they're one. Jonathan Taylor is the runaway, you could say MVP, but if you reference Barkley's season last year, he wouldn't win it. So, but he should win Offensive Player of the Year. But Colts being 7-1, they're 6-0 in their conference play. So I just don't know how you can justify having them any lower right now. They just, I don't know. They're the best team in football right now.
All right, so 3 of us are back on screen for a moment. That was Joey's list. I can show it to you guys one more time before I get ready to show you mine. Here it is. He's got Colts 1, Chiefs 2, Rams 3, Lions 4, Patriots 5, Seahawks 6, Packers 7, Bills 8, Broncos 9, and Buccaneers 10. So I'm going to bring us back up to hide my screen for just a second while I pop up my graphics. Hi, Joey's. And now you all should be able to see my blank list. Alrighty. So we have gone through both Dan's top 10, and we have gone through Joey's top 10. And now we're going to go through my top 10. So for this week, I do want to include 3 honorable mentions. I do feel like it's a good time to do that. I did not discourage you guys to have any, so if you have any at the end of my list that you want to include as honorable mentions, please do so. But here are my honorable mentions. First one is the Baltimore Ravens. They won by some miracle last week because they had no Lamar Jackson, but they were still able to beat the Bears. As Joey mentioned, the Bears have been terrible against every defense except the Cowboys, really, when it comes to passing the ball. So Ravens kind of skate by. They're 2-5. They get Lamar back healthy. I think they're going to be one of the most talented teams in football when he's playing. So honorable mention to the Ravens, expecting them to break into the top 10. Another honorable mention, Chargers 5-3. They have Joe Alt back. That offense looked really dangerous versus the Vikings. Justin Herbert passing the ball like a madman. Really like what he's doing. And then this is probably my first shocker of the day, and it's going to seem kind of inexplicable, but I will explain it to you. The Seahawks, as my 10th honorable mention, I don't know what it was, but as I started going through this list, breaking down all the teams' worst losses or, most, meaningful losses and then their most meaningful wins, just kind of comparing what they've done to the rest of the other 10 teams, I just didn't quite feel like in retrospect they've really done anything so groundbreaking. I definitely think they're in the tier of the lower half top 10 teams, but I am leaving them out of my list this week. So a little surprising, no Seahawks for Scott this week on his list. But let's get into the top 10. So for me, at number 10, we have the New England Patriots. Yes, that's right. I have the Patriots above the Seahawks. And a big reason for me why is because of Drake May. And obviously we've seen what he's done, but team and roster matters a lot too. Well, this team, their best win, I would say, is better than the Seahawks' best win. This Patriots team beat the Bills, whereas with the Seahawks, their 2 best wins are against the Steelers and Jaguars. Now, this Patriots team did have 2 uglier losses, probably the 2 ugliest losses of any top 10 team. That's why they're here at 10, losing to the Raiders and Steelers. So really impressed with what Drake May has been able to do with the offense, and Mike Vrabel kind of leading this team. But ultimately, those 2 losses against the Raiders and the Steelers are a little ugly and kind of hard to get out of my head. But they are 6-2. So they stay and remain at number 10. Number 9 for me is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are also staying put. They are now 6-2. And to me, this Bucs team might have the 2 best losses of any of the top 10 teams. They lost to the Lions and they lost to the Eagles. Now, conversely, their impressive wins are against the Seahawks, 49ers, and Texans. But the reason those got so much hype is because Baker Mayfield was doing it with all the injuries. But Joey mentioned Mike Evans is injured and he's going to be out for a while. Now, the offensive line and Godwin can get back healthier, and so can Bucky, even though that's been sketchy too. But until I see at least some of this offense come back, I'm not just going to simply project that all of these guys are going to get healthy and firing by the time the playoffs roll around. But still a very impressive team. We know their ceiling's amazing. Buccaneers, number 9. Let me include this again. Number 8. At number 8, I have the 6-2 Denver Broncos, who are a new team on my list. I thought I could have sworn I had them in the top 10 at one point and maybe dropped them out. But yeah, they're 6-2. Their most impressive losses are to the Colts, who is Joey's number one team, and the Chargers, who we know with Joe Alt at the time, was a very impressive low-scoring defensive showdown. So them winning that game, or them losing that game to the Chargers, it was when they were kind of the best version of themselves, but their best wins, as Joey mentioned, undefeated versus the NFC East, beating the Eagles and Cowboys, shutting down the Cowboys offense and playing better in the trenches versus the Eagles, and when it comes to third downs and stuff. Just really impressive, cohesive football team with the Broncos, and they could get dangerous in the playoffs, especially if they're healthy. Then my number 7 team is the 6-2 Philadelphia Eagles. And this Eagles team is moving up one spot for me this week. Their 3 best wins might be the best 3 wins of any NFL team. Beating the Rams, beating the Buccaneers, and beating the Chiefs. Now, there are questions about how the Eagles won these games and if it's sustainable, coming from special teams. And, some people were talking about the officiating in that Chiefs game, where it's not really like these convincing wins, but it's still 3 of the most impressive wins. If you're playing that close, you're doing something right. Now, they do have 2 losses that aren't so handsome. They had lost to the Broncos. Better team than the Broncos, shouldn't have lost to them, but it's a respectable loss. But they did lose to that Giants team on primetime, essentially fully healthy. They did lose Quinyon in that game, and they didn't have Carter. But you should not be allowing a practice squad led by a rookie quarterback to move the ball on your defense like that, especially when you did not lose your defensive coordinator. That really worries me. Looks like the offense got some life with Saquon Barkley. A little weird with what's going on with A.J. Brown right now, though. I'd like some more clarity before they move into my top 5. Number 6. We have the Buffalo Bills at 5-2, coming off the bye, looking really strong. But it was the Panthers. The context is important. Their 2 losses this year are very ugly. Patriots and Falcons. Now, this Falcons team, when they're fully healthy, they're a little bit different, and that Bills team did verse the best version of this Falcons team. But what a hideous loss. I mean, seriously, for a Bills team that we have such high expectations for. But their best win, to me, was what I considered the second best team in football in Week 1, the Ravens. That fully healthy Ravens team was no joke. And the Bills showed more cohesiveness as a team, better end-of-game management, clock situation, better coaching decisions. And that mixed with Josh Allen and a run game and James Cook rolling is surefire going to be projecting to be a top 5 team. I want to see it against a good team, so that's why they're still number 6. And then at number 5, I got the Green Bay Packers also staying put. The Bills moved up a spot, but they did not surpass the Packers for me. Why? Well, the Packers are 5-1-1. Their losses this year are to the Cleveland Browns, and then essentially them tying to the Cowboys has been viewed as a loss in many's eyes. I view that Browns game as very fluky. There were some fluky things in that Cowboys game, but they still did end up tying. Now, they didn't have Devontae Wyatt and Lucas Van Ness for a little bit, but they had him back in the Steelers game, and the results showed in the pressure that Rodgers was under. You got to remember, this Packers team, yes, it was Week 1, but they still did crush that Lions team when they were fully healthy. They've now beaten the Steelers, someone we were talking about, a top 10 team. But then just really the Commanders. I mean, other than that Lions win Week 1, it has been us kind of waiting for an impressive win by them. And I am still waiting to see that, but the potential's clearly there. They looked better this week coming back healthy. So I like the Packers at 5. At number 4, I got the Indianapolis Colts also staying put for me. For them, they're 7-1. Their only loss is to the Rams, which is one hell of a loss. I mean, if that's going to be your only loss in the season. And then their 2 best wins are against the Broncos and Chargers, 2 teams that are narrowly in my top 10. At least for the Chargers, working their way back up, but then the Broncos, they're at number 8. So 2 quality wins, but no wins against like elite, like top of the top teams. Like no win against the Lions, no win against the Ravens. Could have done it against that Rams team, and they didn't get it done. But obviously we know Jonathan Taylor, Offensive Player of the Year, looks amazing. Shane Steichen's got this offense rolling. And shout out to my boy Daniel Jones for proving the haters wrong. Number 3, I got the Los Angeles Rams. This is the team that beat the Colts. They might not be consistent every week. That Eagles loss, it did happen. Whether it was a fluke or not, they did let it go, and they let them come back and gave them the opportunity to win. And then that loss to the 49ers. That one really sticks in my head. It's just one of those weird Rams games that I do kind of write off a little bit. This is a 5-2 football team. They did beat the Colts, and they smacked the Jaguars without Puka. Now, that was, before the bye, so having Puka back after the bye, that extra time with all this coaching and this, veteran quarterback, I expect great things from this Rams team moving forward. And they're staying put at number 3. Number 2, I got the Detroit Lions also staying put. Not much to say about the Lions. I think we know who they are. Amazing offense. Defense looks healthier. But just as a reminder, 5-2, their 2 losses against the Packers and the Chiefs. I mean, that is... I don't know if there's anyone who has 2 more excusable losses in the NFL besides the Buccaneers losing to the Lions and Eagles. I think Packers, Chiefs, it's got to be the first most acceptable, 2 losses that any team has. But then their 2 best wins, the Buccaneers, the Bucs were injured and whatnot, but they were skating by winning games like that. So them winning that game in the manner they did was something that the number 2 team in football should do. And then the Ravens, when they still had Lamar, doing the same thing the Bills did. Very, very impressive. A hump that the Lions hadn't gotten over in the past, beating those elite AFC quarterbacks. So I love to see that. So they stay put at number 2. And then number 1, also staying put. Number 1, the Kansas City Chiefs. They are 4-3. They did lose to the Eagles. They did lose to the Jaguars on primetime. But they did beat this number 2 Lions team for me. And I think we know they're a different team with Rashee Rice. So I'm very, very high on them moving forward. And I expect them to probably hold this spot for almost the entirety of the year, unless if they suffer some kind of major injury. So that's Chiefs 1, Lions 2, Rams 3, Colts 4, Packers 5. 6, the Bills. 7, the Eagles. 8, the Broncos. 9, Buccaneers. 10, the New England Patriots. Boys, what do we think? What do we think about each other's lists just now after seeing them all? And, kind of taking it in. Is there anything that sticks out to you immediately? I guess we can start with mine just because it's probably fresh in your guys' head. And then I can bring it back up your guys' lists when the time comes. So anything that sticks out?
I think leaving Seattle off is a choice.
It is a choice. I'm choosing to put less faith into the Seahawks.
Also, you guys both have the Bills over the Patriots. I don't agree.
Well, I think I speak for both me and Danny when I say this. When I say that they did beat the Bills, they did beat them. Mm-hmm. But to me, winning one game in the regular season does not make me just forget the body of work that the Bills have had. Where we've seen this Patriots team lose to the Steelers. They haven't played many other teams. Like I said, I couldn't find a good win besides that Bills win for this Patriots team. And some of it, they lost to the Raiders, this terrible Raiders team, and fumbled it away versus the Steelers. They're just a very young team. I love the coaching staff. I totally think they have the potential to once again beat the Bills a second time, maybe in the playoffs. That doesn't mean that I have all the confidence in the world that the whole team is going to do it, even if I'm confident in who Drake May is. I like the Bills as a team more. Their offensive line's better. It's not like it's not close, but I'm gonna hedge with the Bills on when it comes to that.
And we also haven't seen the Patriots in a playoff situation like this. This Patriots team, to me, when it comes to the regular season, Josh Allen has absolutely cooked Mahomes in the regular season. Still cannot do it in the playoffs. So it's it's very, to me, fair to say yes, while I might be impressed by what the Patriots are doing, I'm still not, I guess, bought in the sense of they go to the playoffs and those playoff caliber AFC teams that I'm gonna sit there and be like, oh yeah, the Patriots got their number for probably no more than the last place wild card team, or because if they're playing wherever they place, being either if they win the division, they'll probably be what, three or four, or number 2 maybe, because the Chargers I think are 1. No, the Colts are 1. The Chargers would be 2, and then the Patriots would probably be 3.
That's right.
Then they would be playing the 5 seed, I believe. That's how. Yeah, the 5 seed.
They play a 6 seed.
6 seed. My fault. They play the 6 seed, which would probably be the Broncos.
Broncos, I would say, because the Chiefs Broncos are going to fill that 5-6 wild card spot, I believe.
So to me, it's now I got to sit here and be like, would I pick the Patriots over the Broncos? Not in any situation here. You know what I mean? I really couldn't say that right here, right now at this moment, especially with how the Broncos have been playing as recent.
Both the Broncos and Patriots are on 5-game win streaks right now, and they're
And you
both
could
6
say,
and
and
2.
you would say confidently right here, Patriots, Broncos. You put mad bread on it. You're gonna pick the Patriots over the Broncos.
Well, then we got to talk. It's like Mike Vrabel versus Sean Payton, and then Josh McDaniel. You know, he's been there, done that. He's won a bunch of rings, and I don't know. I just really like what Stephon Diggs is bringing for the Patriots, and I feel like each week you mentioned, Scott, they're a young team. I think each week they're getting better, and Drake May has elevated everybody around him to. I just think it's going to just continue to be that way.
I think you're right. They could keep getting better, and we could see like a Commanders season from last year, where they just defy the odds. I'm talking about the chances. I'm taking the Bills' chances. I'm not ruling it out, but they could also get worse. I mean, we saw that Commanders team also fall flat on their face when they had almost bitten off more than they could chew. You know, after they won that Bucks game, I think that was the game we knew they had a chance to win. But after that Lions game, it was like the lid was blown off. And this Patriots team, even if they do beat a Broncos team, a fully healthy Ravens team in the playoffs or Bills, I'm just going to expect them, the whole team, to be more prepared. Now, Mike Vrabel could very well do a great job of getting these young guys ready. But, you know, a big reason they lost those games was, like I said, at least it was Ramondre fumbling versus the Steelers. Against the Raiders, this young offensive line, it's like that's what continuously holds me back, honestly, with the Patriots. If I'm calling my shot of what's going to stop them, it's this offensive line. We just saw Myles Garrett have 5 sacks against them. If that wasn't the Browns' offense, they would have lost that game. So, and probably got let up even more than 6 total sacks that they did. Now, Drake May did make some amazing plays through that, but I'm just saying, if it was a different defense or a different team with that defense, I think they probably would have lost. I'm nervous for that when it comes to the Patriots. Is that what you would agree with? That's probably their Achilles heel?
Potentially. All I know is give me Drake May versus anybody. That's how I feel.
All I know is that freaking meme. I've seen a bunch of TikToks about their recent draft pick this year, their tackle. About they were like, what are you gonna bring to this organization? And he's just, I'm gonna give everything.
God.
Like, God, I'm gonna die. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, it was just Myles Garrett just coming out of the corner.
It's like you're gonna block him, man. You might not die, but it's gonna suck.
How many teams have a Myles Garrett on their team?
Like 5.
I don't know, but how many teams have a Myles Garrett that complained about being on their team and then decide to sign back to a team after he just stated that he wants to win? I don't feel bad for him. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like,
same can be said about Max Crosby. Same could be said about him.
Well, yeah, it's just with Will Campbell, he's technically sound, but the guys with length, like that's why they measure arm
Is Will
length.
Campbell playing tackle or guard? Tackle.
Yeah. I mean,
I thought he was going to be a guard.
No. That's what some people wanted for him because of his arm length, but obviously he's got what it takes to play tackle. I mean, being a rookie against Myles Garrett is no joke. There are very few guys who can even contain him one-on-one. Andrew Thomas. But anyway.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say he's gonna be playing guard next year.
Maybe. I'm not. I'm
probably.
We're
probably gonna draft another tackle next year.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Because then he could be a swing guy if anything goes wrong. All right. I know. You guys have probably. You want to dig into my mind about this Seahawks thing. Me not even having them on the list. I mean, I dropped them I had them at 6, so they're down 5 spots. They are first in line to get on the list.
Yeah, you dropped them 5 spots off of my week.
Yeah, I did. And I fully acknowledge that maybe I was
talk about reactionary.
I was a little high on them last week compared to what I really felt after looking at their schedule compared to everyone else's. I think they're a great team. I think their defense is elite, and it is on the same level as the Broncos. As who else has this? The Packers. I think they could totally be like that in the playoffs.
Can't say the Packers.
The Packers have Devontae Wyatt and Lucas Van Ness back. I mean, this is the fully healthy.
They haven't had a dominant defensive outing yet, though.
They held the Lions till 6 points through 45 minutes.
Week 1. Week 8,
it's this season. Are we only measuring 3 weeks back? It happened. It's the truth.
And what have they done since then? They've been trash.
I mean,
I know this. I had them in fantasy, and I'm about to cut them. That's how bad they've been.
The Packers defense wasn't playing that great until they played well in this Steelers game. The Steelers offense is not like a terrible offense. This is a veteran quarterback who's got some weapons and a good OC, and they couldn't operate through the pressure. And the secondary isn't good. But if the pressure's getting there, it really doesn't matter. You can actually flip that into baiting people to target your secondary and targets that really shouldn't be there. Like, you shouldn't be throwing that ball. But since you go in with that game plan, you end up throwing an interception because you think, well, I can't do anything else. I'm going to get sacked. But either way, I'm digressing a little bit. It's the fact that I feel like
you would think with the pass rush from the Packers, they would force more interceptions. They have 2 interceptions all season.
And that's my next point, is the fact that like I said again, it's like things snowballed. It's like there's like, we all know the concept of like complementary football. It's like the Packers were able to get Tucker Kraft on tight ends day to be an absolute hoss all game. And what's that happen? Allows your defense to breathe, allows the opposing team's offense to have to feel like they have to keep rushing out there over and over again because your defense can't hold it. And guess what? It's like you are not able to go and develop a game plan, even though yes, he's a veteran quarterback, but DK Metcalf was flustered. Kenneth Gainwell, listen, I'm not gonna lie to you, as an Eagles fan, I don't remember the last time I saw Kenneth Gainwell fumble, and he fumbled that game. Like, so it's like there were things that were happening that I'm like are not normal, which is what I'm saying.
But we're not gonna credit the Packers for that. So what I'm saying, I feel like we're going out of our way to say anything but the Packers had a good defensive out or the Packers played a great game versus the Steelers. It was like, I do get it. I do think the Steelers didn't play a great game, but like I don't think it's not like they were lining up against garbage cans.
I blame Mike Tomlin because he just wanted to kick a field goal every fucking drive. He just wanted the field goal every time. He didn't want to go for it on 4th down or anything. He was just settled for the field goal. And Mike Tomlin played that game not to lose. He didn't play to win. That's what it came down to. Then the Packers ran away with it in the 3rd quarter.
Well, that's what good teams do. And this is not a bad Steelers team. I mean, this is a team that we were highlighting this game.
No, I thought this defense was going to absolutely start destroying people. The Steelers defense, and they were getting nice
getting burnt. Their defense has been getting burnt by everybody too, though, to a certain extent.
Well, and I would just like.
And this comes down to me. This was just like the Rodgers versus Love game. That's why there was so much built up emotion to it. That's why we saw Jordan Love's best outing of the game. Best outing of the season, I would say.
I was just about to say, if you got this much bad to say about the Packers defense, I'd like you to find me what's wrong with their offense. And to be honest, like, the only hole on this entire team is special teams and the secondary. That's it. That's pretty minuscule. There's like a whole bunch of ways this team can go about winning a football game, and that just it's just parallels to what the Eagles were, that it's going to be ugly sometimes. But the truth of the matter is they could have won this Steelers game probably 3 different ways if they wanted to. I mean, you said it yourself. On National Tight Ends Day, they had the freedom on offense to really go out of their way to target him. I mean, he's a great player, but it really seems...
He's their best offensive player, so I don't think Tight Ends Day has anything to do with it.
Well,
he's
they had
their best
Christian Watson
player.
back, and he had a big day too.
Christian Watson's done nothing his whole career.
Well, he's playing. He played really well in that game. And
Christian Watson been there periodically. Okay, let's not shit on him. Yeah, he's been there periodically.
He has one good game against Dallas.
Between him and Romeo Dobbs, they're clearly the dudes who outperform everybody. Like when Jaden Reed's there, he sauces. Like, I don't disagree with you that Matthew Golden was absolutely wild of a pick. I think that was just for clout because I don't know what this dude has done yet, really, if I'm going to be straight up honest.
He's played well. He's been a good separator.
How many yards did he have?
He's been, you know what? He's been overthrown by Jordan Love multiple times. He's been getting
And what is he known for?
He's known for
speed. He's getting overthrown.
No, he's known for route running. He's a route runner. He's not like a Jalen Hyatt.
He's a bust.
No, go look at it. Well, I'll pull it. I'm pulling this up for next week. I'm gonna get his separation stats ready. I'm gonna show you guys that he's not just this combine.
I've seen that before. I've seen separation stats. The first player I think of is A.D. Mitchell. How's he doing?
I'm not changing the subject to A.D. Mitchell. I'm trying to tell you Matthew Golden
You're talking about separation stats. First guy you see in separation stats, yards per game. That's A.D. Mitchell.
I was so hyped for Adonai Mitchell, bro.
Yeah,
I was so hyped for him.
But I don't know what he has to do with whether or not Matthew Golden is capable of anything besides
talking
running
about the separation stat thing.
And you're trying to say because A.D. Mitchell has good separation that like because he's not.
When's the last time Matthew Golden's had 100-yard game? When's the last time?
I don't know. You said it in the beginning, but it's not relevant to me.
Yeah,
it's not.
How's that not relevant to you? You talk about him being a number one receiver. He hasn't had 100 yards in 5 years.
Because you could have a dude on Alabama who's going to have a 100-yard game and not get drafted into the NFL because he's on a great team. But if he's on this other team that doesn't produce more than 150 passing yards per game for like the dude's entire college tenure, then I'm not going to blame him for not having a 100-yard game because the standards at colleges are different. I mean, we know this, but anyway, I'm just trying to say there's enough to like. There is not a team probably in the NFL right now, I think, that has a better combination of a great offense and a great defense. I think maybe the Rams, the Lions, their defense I don't think is on the same level as the Packers. I think we know that, but the offense is so great. And then the Chiefs, we know what they're capable of. So to me, and that's what carries teams through the playoffs is being able to win on offense, on defense, having that great coach. They got it. I mean, whether you like it or not, they have it. Like, and not
Detroit's defense has been a lot better than the Packers this year. So is the Rams.
Whose defense?
Detroit.
Oh,
they've been a lot better than Green Bay.
How were they week 1?
Dude, all you keep bringing up is week 1 that we don't have a whole 8-game slate to look at.
Yeah, we do have a whole 8-game slate to look at, but you can't. I will look at every single one of those games, and I won't ignore a single one of them, including week 1.
You're putting more stock in the outlier game than what you've seen in the other 7 games.
An outlier game, it's a divisional matchup. We've seen it many times. It's not like it was some random thing. The Lions knew what they were walking into. Are you the same team
in September that you are in October, November, December? Or are you the same team from
No,
September?
You're not, but you are closer to the team you were in week 1 than...
No, you're not.
You don't even know what I'm going to say. Hold on.
I'm not gonna lie. You didn't even let him finish your point.
You don't know what I'm saying.
I heard you say you were the closer to the team you are in week 1. I was like, that's a lie.
I'm saying
Detroit
I'm trying to say
all third-string defensive players starting.
You're acting like the team from week 1 is completely gone. But I would place it like this: in Super Bowl week, you should be going back all the way back to week 1 to try to see what were all the tendencies that this team had, what were they capable of when they were fully healthy, because maybe they are, maybe they aren't by the Super Bowl, but it helps you look at what matchups that were there week 1, and then you could cross off a few injured names and say, okay, here's our new list of matchups and things and ways we can beat and expose this team. So I absolutely think if I'm anyone who's going up against the Detroit Lions and I'm trying to pull up film for my defense, I'm pulling up the Packers film from week 1. Okay, but the point I'm making here is you are not who you were week 1 because of injuries and development of players and changing game plans. You're not. You're correct, but you are way more what you were week 1 than you're describing it as. It's like week 1 doesn't reflect at all what these teams are. Like it tells something about who you are for sure.
You sound like a Green Bay apologist right now. That's what you sound like.
I'm not they're 5-1-1. I'm not apologizing. It's not like they just lost. They just won by 2 scores on primetime against a potential playoff team. Like, this is what a Super Bowl caliber team does.
Their defense is ranked 25th right now, and you act like they're a top 3 to 5 defense.
And it's like, Scott, I know you bring up like week to week and everything like that, but they also let up 18 points against, like, it was a close game against the Bengals. You know what I mean? So that's why to me it's
they had
like
1 sack against the Bengals O-line. You always want to talk about Joe Burrow, how bad the O-line is. They had 1 sack against that O-line.
Yeah, and that was crazy. Flacco was balling, but there's no excuse for that from that defense, even if they did have injuries through some of these weeks. But if we're looking at the schedule for this Packers team, I will assign value to each of these games just for you guys, just so you can kind of understand where my head's at. The week 1 win over the Lions, impressive. Something I'm not going to forget. and I'm not
I'll
going to
give you that. I will give you that.
That's
that
a game I would wait.
Fair statement.
I would wait for every other team
Scott,
in the
if
league.
that's something-
Hold on, let me get through like at least 2 games, all right? Let me get through at least 2 of the 7 before you jump in. I promise I will let you spew right after. I'll let you say whatever you want. Just let me establish that like that's a game for any other team if they beat the Lions, if whether it was week 1 or week 18, I'm going to remember it. Week 2 versus the Commanders, they dominated them. The Commanders didn't have any injuries yet. So that was an impressive win to me. Not as impressive as the Lions win, but they did it the same way. And then the Browns lost. To me, kind of fluky, but you shouldn't let that happen. They played that game not to lose, and they lost because of it. I thought that was a very rare malpractice by Matt LaFleur and their game plan, and very poor performance by the Packers offense, not their defense. Their defense was good. And then I believe it was in that game where they had the injuries to Van Ness and Wyatt, and you play the Cowboys. Now the Cowboys don't have CeeDee Lamb either. This to me was a disappointing game for the Packers. You should not, regardless, be letting up 40 points to this Cowboys team. But it seemed without some of those trench guys, the Cowboys offensive line was able to do what they wanted. Because of that, Dak was able to operate. And you got a nice showdown. And then you see, okay, for the first time, we haven't scored more than 27 points this year. We scored 10 points last week. We can score 40 points. We can expose your bad defense because we can do anything because we're the Packers. And then the Bengals. Okay, you guys are talking about how close this game. It was 27-18 by the end of the game. It's like the same score as the Commanders game. It's just almost the same score as the Lions game. I get it probably was close at one point, but they still managed to win. Should they have won better? Yeah, but the Bengals have surprised a lot of teams this year. That's my thoughts. Packers, Cardinals. Yep, game was closer than it should have been.
Jets.
Yeah, but they also played the same level of competition against. You're talking about the Bengals, I know, but I'm talking about the Cardinals. They played like this against the Colts with Brissett, and this game went exactly the same way. So I'm gonna say, okay, the Brissett Pastronaut thing happened. I don't think it's going to last. Kyler's supposed to be back this week. But not an impressive win, but a win that they did get. And then 35-25 over the Steelers. It's like, which way do you want it? Do you want the offense? Do you want the defense? Whatever your team stinks at the most, we're going to win that way. And if we're better than you on both sides, it looks like the Steelers game. They have a better defense than the Steelers and a better offense. So that's kind of like how I'm following this season so far. It's like, yeah, I am kind of waiting for them to cancel out that Browns loss and the Cowboys game. But that Lions win, honestly, to me, can give me that reassurance, and I can ride that until they play the Eagles November 10th on Monday night, which should be a game that, tells us 3 a lot because of how much we talk about these two teams. And then they got the Lions later on, the Broncos, the Ravens. Like that's good. They're going to face challenges where I will be more willing to move them up or down, but it's games like that Lions game, these elite teams that I look at, that I wait for, that mean the most to me.
I guess my question kind of comes from, because I know everybody is extremely, shaky with how the Eagles are playing ever since we lost to the Giants the way we did. But we also, like you said, did not have, and we should not lose regardless of the people that we lost on defense. And it's like the Packers were all healthy at the time. I understand they're saying like Mike has got some form of back problem, back strain, back something. But it's like he still played that game. And they lost to the Browns. Like, why is it that I guess the narrative for the Packers is like they're still solid, even though they also lost the game they definitely should not have?
I got 2 reasons. So I'll say the Browns loss is inexcusable. First, I'll say that from a team standpoint. But I did kind of lay out. It's like, and if you remember, there was a blocked field goal in that game that gave the Browns the field position to score the touchdown that they did. That defense would have shut them out. Okay? So it was the offense and the coaching to me where it was really like kind of in question in that Browns game. I was shocked by that. And I said, okay, I need to see that this was more of a bad coaching job and game plan than it was who they are. And I think over the past couple games, they've proven that their offense, is a lot more explosive and more capable than what we saw in that Browns game. So that's kind of my number one reason. And then same thing with the Cowboys game. It's like the defense shouldn't be that bad. But I think they've shown us across the season that, when they are dialed in, there are a few that are better than them on the defensive side. But when you're comparing them to the Eagles, I think that's fair. I do. But I'll tell you kind of why I have more faith in this Packers team.
I have multiple things to add.
And this is all I really got left to say, and maybe you're gonna say something along these lines, but there was a 2023 Eagles season where, because the coordinators weren't there, we saw it fall apart. The coordinators were great last year. It all came together. The coordinators this year, well, it's a question on the offensive side and just kind of the repeatability of a season like that where it all seems to need to be there. But the Packers, to me, when they had their bad year, that was last year. Jordan Love started the year injured. They were down to like their fifth wide receiver in the playoffs, and they still played the Eagles really close. It wasn't like this collapsing loss like you guys had to the Buccaneers. So essentially, I'm saying the range of outcomes for the Eagles, I think, is a lot wider. They have such a high ceiling. The Packers haven't gotten there yet, but the floor is also way lower. I think the Packers kind of raised their ceiling with the Micah move this offseason, so I think they're kind of in that range of outcomes where I think they have a higher floor and the same ceiling as the Eagles at their best. So that's kind of why I feel that way.
I got multiple things for you. So the Browns are considered one of the best defenses in football, right?
Yeah.
And the Browns beat the Packers.
They did.
Do you know who cooked the Browns? Drake May and the Patriots.
Okay.
So I would say it's a good W for Drake May. Stood in the pocket. He took 5 sacks from Myles Garrett, dropped nearly 40 on those guys. Number 2, is the AFC North one of the worst? Is the AFC North the worst division in football?
Maybe at the moment, but it's not gonna stay that way. It's gonna be the NFC.
I want to say that way. They have the Bengals and the Browns.
Well,
in their,
I mean, the Bengals have played okay with Flacco. They're gonna have Lamar back on the Ravens. The Steelers we know they're not bad. And then the Browns, they have this elite defense that can literally beat a team like the Packers. Whereas I feel like the NFC North, it's like Panthers, Saints, Falcons, Buccaneers. Buccaneers are the only team that I'm really afraid of in that division.
You said NFC North. It's NFC South.
NFC South. Thank you, Dan.
Got you.
Number 3. So let me ask you this, Scott. You put all your eggs in this basket, how they beat the Lions week 1.
Yeah.
Why doesn't your rankings show that? Why do you have the Lions over the Packers when you're hanging your hat on the Packers win against the Lions? Why is that?
Question. It's a really good question. So
you're contradicting yourself with what you're saying.
No. So that's an awesome question, and it really is, and I can tell you exactly why, because I did think about this, and there's a reason. So the reason is because yes, the Packers beat the Lions week 1. They did do that. Now, do I think there was an element of catching them off guard and it being week 1? I do. I agree. It is just week 1. But it is there.
We've been trying to tell you this whole time.
Now, let me continue. It's still, I know now moving forward in this season that the Packers have every opportunity to dominate the Lions, and I don't know that the Lions can dominate the Packers. I think they can win against the Packers, but I don't know that they can dominate. But I know the Lions can play everyone else. The Lions, in their losses, have lost to this Packers team and the Chiefs. So that's the only 2 games they have lost to me are to elite teams. And their 2 best wins against the Buccaneers and Ravens are against elite teams. I haven't seen that from the Packers yet outside of them beating the Lions. And the other 2 best wins being the Steelers and Commanders, it's like, okay, I'm still waiting for that. Like, you beat the Rams. You beat the Colts.
Pack team.
Right? And then their losses are to that Browns team. Okay? Now, that is their only technical loss. But I will include the Dallas game as an underperformance in the tie. So I see more vulnerability from the Packers than I do from the Lions. I see more consistency from the Lions. I think the ceiling, though, with the Packers is higher because of the talent that they have on both sides of the ball. And then I think Jordan Love has the potential to be a better quarterback than Jared Goff. And I think LaFleur is a better, and their group is a better coach and coaching staff than the Lions have, as great as they've been. So essentially my reasons are Packers have a higher ceiling and range of outcomes with the head coach and the quarterback and the talent. It's just not so consistently there, where that's exactly what we know the Lions for. I know every week the Lions are who they're going to show up and be. I don't know that about the Packers. So that's why they rank higher right now, because I think they have a better chance to go like all the way in like a law of averages. It's just not what I'm projecting like for my actual Super Bowl pick. But for the time being, it's like I can't deny that the Lions have been the second best team in football. Does that answer? Do you feel like there was anything I said that like was kind of confusing.
I don't feel any better about your list with how you're defending the Packers.
Okay. I feel like that was fairly sound. But there's no talent thing I have on my notes list. So maybe I'll have to do a top 10 most talented teams or something and just kind of have that on the side. But either way, I started this by asking if you guys wanted to dig into my my Seahawks thing. But it seems like you guys are just kind of like, yeah, you're just kind of choosing to leave them out and have like zero faith in them to be, because I just think they're not as good as the Broncos, to be honest. I think the Broncos offense is way more versatile and the defense has the same ceiling. So to me, with the coaches both being like really impressive, I prefer the Broncos, along with the Broncos beating the Eagles and Cowboys. Like, I'm just not as impressed by the Seahawks wins, Steelers and Jaguars. Does that change the way you guys see them?
I think head-to-head, I think Seattle would beat Denver, and that's because I think Sam Darnold – I have more trust in Darnold than I would say Bo Nix, because outside of the outlier Cowboys game, Bo Nix can't throw the ball down the field. Everything with him is a check down.
What about against the Giants?
He's a check down machine, so I think Sam Darnold – I like Sam Darnold a lot better against their defense than I would Bo Nix against the Seattle defense. So I would give the edge to Seattle for that.
It's a tough call. I think it's a tough call, though. I think it is just
at the end of the day, a lot of this stuff, unless you're Dallas, comes down to your quarterback
and your
with
coach.
Like your head-to-head matchup. Yeah, and your coach. And I would say Seattle and Denver are pretty much the same exact team, except I would give the edge to Darnold with his experience and his ability to throw the ball over what Bo Nix has done against every other team outside of Dallas.
Okay, Dan, do you feel any differently about the Seahawks after my my grievances?
I mean, no, not really. What's it called? For me, watching the Seahawks, how do I say this? Darnold's style of play showed me a lot last year when he was on the Vikings against that Rams game, and the how do I say, performance that he had in like high stake moments, I guess, is what makes me weary about like who he is. Like, we saw Bo Nix already in the playoffs, like when he went up against who they play freaking last year, the first round, because the Chiefs, yeah, the Bills, and it was like what
he pooped his pants.
They got stomped.
Yeah, they got absolutely smacked. But it's like
they got pants. I feel on national television.
I understand that, but as you can see, like from my team standpoint, it's like you might be able to get smacked, but you don't know what year 2 looks like when you go into the playoffs again. So it's like the Broncos are, I would say, seasoned in what the playoffs look like, especially going into playing a Broncos team that, again, found their fire, was able to beat the Broncos, just squeeze by the Ravens to then lose to the Chiefs. So it's like, I like the Broncos for the fact that they have experience in the situation, while I've seen Darnold kind of choke and have a hard time, like, be in those kind of like high stake situations in reality.
I feel like they're like very similar teams, and it really does depend on how you feel on the quarterbacks. And I feel like it is like a bit of it's not just a quarterback for me. It's like, what's the meld between the quarterback and the the play caller or like the head coach. I just feel really good about I think this Broncos team overachieved a little bit last year. They really, put a lot of effort into getting their guys on offense and defense to, really raise the talent level on the team. And I think they're better equipped to approach the playoffs this year. Whereas with the Seahawks, it's all brand new, and it could be even better than what I'm comparing them to. But I feel like it could also be worse. And I just like some of the other NFC teams more. But that's kind of just all I had to say about the Seahawks. Other than that, I think the only remaining big question is why, once again, Joey, like, I don't fully disagree with a whole ton on your list, but you don't have the Eagles on your list again. And I want to know what, I guess, let me ask you this. What gives you more faith in, say, the Packers than the Eagles? Because you have the Packers.
I'm
number
giving the
7.
Packers. I'm giving the Packers the edge off their. They have one loss on the year, right?
Yeah.
But I got to give them the edge. I would imagine. I don't know. For me, that Packers had nothing really to do with this. For me, it comes down to this past week. We saw Scatterby break his ankle. Saw a bad Giants. The Giants quit after that.
They did.
And I'm not gonna let a dominant win against the Giants move me and have them move into my top 10.
So I guess
So this is where I'm genuinely curious, right? For the chat, you don't have him at 10. Where do you put the Eagles? From 0 to 32, what's the number for you, Joey?
Let me look real quick. Let me look at the standings.
While he looks, I'll remind the Eagles lost to the Giants and the Broncos. And their good wins are against the Rams, Chiefs, and Buccaneers. Now, questionable, but
I got
did win.
And also, too, it was like we didn't know what that Cowboys team was week 1, but they did lose Micah. So it's like I feel like because of that and the hype that was that trade, everyone was like, oh, they just basically threw their defense out the window. When it was like they were solid and they were fully healthy. And they did
at 15.
stop the run. At 15.
Wow. Who's 14?
No, that's exactly what my next question is going to be. So the 4 teams you have, let me see if I can guess it. I'm assuming one's going to be the Jaguars.
Correct.
Okay. Another one's probably going to be the Niners.
Okay.
Correct.
Another one's probably going to be, and this is just me knowing you.
AFC, I'll give you that hint.
Is it the Ravens?
Both? No.
Oh.
No, he's going to say the Chargers.
Chargers?
Correct.
Okay. So
Danny, you're 3 for 3. What's my last team?
It's still the AFC, right?
Yep. It's the only other team in playoff contention that I left off.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
the Steelers?
Correct.
Sorry, Danny.
No, you believe me, I was there. I was right there. I was
Okay.
there.
I'm really impressed, Danny, that you went 3 for 3 just off the top of your head.
And that's me knowing you because of the fact of the type of play that they are in. And the only reason why that I will ever disagree with the Niners is because what they have right now is not sustainable. Like,
I agree.
Yeah.
it's really not. So it's like, you know what I mean? And also too now with
Just
the
like Mac
Jaguars.
Jones.
Yeah, it's just Mac Jones. Then let's see, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Like, I love T-Law, I love ETN. I'm a big Clemson guy. I think Thomas Jr. is having a little bit of a fluke ish going on. I think Travis Hunter is on his high right now. There's apparently talks about Brian Thomas Jr. getting traded.
Yeah, what?
So it's like, huh?
I said, yeah, like what? Like, what are they thinking over there?
Like, that would be absolutely wild. And if he did, please go to the Commanders, and then my fantasy teams would be broken.
Oh.
But
Hold on, I want to stop you there. We have an Eagles fan hoping the Commanders trade for Brian Thomas.
Let's get him on the Giants.
No.
yes, 100%. That would be like,
That would be sick.
Part of my thing with the Jags is I think their defense is better than what they've showed us recently. And we saw Travis Hunter break out in, even though it was a blowout, he broke out in London. And I want to continue to see what he does the rest of the year next to Brian Thomas. We need Brian Thomas to turn around. That's what it comes down to.
I think,
But I like Liam Cohen.
I like Liam Cohen.
and then for me personally, I feel like why you like the Steelers is because one of the names that are on there, and two, the productivity that they've had besides this last game against the Packers. But again, you know, it seems like you and I are both in belief of like the Packers didn't win that game. The Steelers really lost that game. So
Correct.
so
Steelers lost because they played not to win. They played not to lose.
That's what my whole thing was during that game. They were at home. That's why I was so confused seeing how
the Packers. We're gonna get destroyed. That's what they're thinking. We better not lose this game.
So
I
for me,
think
it's like
topic
that's
of
the reason
conversation,
why
but-
I will ever disagree with that stuff, because it's like all it takes is one big game. Like, Eagles beat the Lions or Eagles beat the Packers, and it's just like everyone's gonna start glazing, like, oh my god, the Eagles are back. And it's just like, No, we've been a top 5 team in the NFC, and it's like that's just what it be.
You guys for real just gotta stay healthy and figure out what the hell your play calling is, and you'll be a top 5 team. It's just the only way I'm not leaving them out of my top 10 because of the sheer logic of why I have the Packers like in the top 5 is the same reason why the Eagles are in there. I don't think the Eagles have looked like all that great. I don't think the Vikings are like this good team right now. So playing them close wasn't great. I mean the Giants, like if Scadaboo's healthy in that game, like and that fumble, like let's be real. I mean, I'm not gonna force you to say anything, Dan, but that should have been a fumble and it should have been Giants ball and they probably would have scored. The game should have been closer. There were a lot of things that assisted the Eagles. Now they didn't have AJ Brown, which kind of to me was like, okay, I mean, yeah, the Giants had some injuries too, but this is where we're starting to see the Eagles' adaptability, which is what you need. You need this full roster. We lost someone, that's okay. We're not going to lose because of that. And I don't know. I could say, anything you say about Jalen Hurts, you could probably say about T-Law and a lot of these guys in this range. And I don't know. To me, it just seems like, if you're gonna base it off something, like just pick one position group. I usually pick trenches when it comes to ranking teams. The Eagles, they don't have Cam Jurgens right now, but they're still blocking it up. Saquon will be healthy after the bye. Like, I don't know. I have faith, but I will admit though, there hasn't been a pretty win this whole year. I mean that Rams game took 2 crazy blocks in the fourth quarter to win. The Bucks, you start off with a blocked punt touchdown, and the Chiefs, it was just kind of a questionable game. They didn't have Rice, so it's kind of like I want to see that like beautiful win for the Eagles. So I can sympathize with Joey when it comes to that, but I sympathize with you, Dan. They're definitely talented enough, and they definitely got
One thing I'll say to your point was because like for example last year was a big reminiscent of it. Like we did have these great like play calls and everything, but the Falcons game we had week 2 when Saquon dropped the ball, we took that loss. It was also an extremely close game. The Bucks game that we played last year against them, an extremely close game, but we also lost. So it was like there's like I feel like it's like a similar script, but a lot scarier because it's not Kellen Moore calling the plays. It's Patullo. So it's like you have this week bye that's going to go by. We're going to develop as a team. And it's like right after the bye from last year, we fired on all cylinders. We were cooking through the playoffs into the Super Bowl. So it's like, one thing I'll say is like, we'll see the bye. We'll let the bye go through. And I definitely would want to have a serious talk about what it is we look like that first game after the bye.
Yeah.
Danny, I'll tell you this. For my ranking of the Eagles to change, it's all going to hinder on November 16th when you play the Lions. Beat the Lions, and I'll have no choice but to add them into my top 10.
I mean, they got to be top. They got to jump crazy, though, if they beat the Lions.
They would. They would have to be undisputed top 5 team if they can do that.
Yeah. But it's just going to take that. Nothing else. Okay?
That's all it's going to take.
Probably going to wait for something similar. I mean, looking at the Eagles' schedule.
You guys play the Cardinals, I think, next, and or something like that, and I'm not putting any stock into these teams.
They play the Packers.
Yeah,
I agree. Packers after a bye. They play the Packers after a bye, and then the Lions.
Packers and then
Actually, that'll be a good game to judge. That would probably, if you guys can dismantle
that'll make you
the
top
Packers,
10. The Lions will be top 5. I understand. I could see
Correct.
that.
What if they split? What if they beat one of these teams and lose to the other? How does that make you feel, Joey?
Me? Oh, Joey.
Depends on how they lose and how they win.
That's
I need to see a dominant performance is what I'm asking for. I want to see 4 quarters of dominant football from the Eagles. Because last year, that's all we saw from them. Last year was just BTA versus every team. So that's what I'm waiting to see.
Yeah. Yeah, and I said the same thing. I didn't say it like that, but that's what I was saying. I want to see that. I want to see them destroy someone, and I feel like it hasn't been there. But I would say we covered our top 10 lists. I would say we, questioned each other for some of our most controversial rankings, and I think we, finished off, recapping week 8 and getting ready for week 9 in this crazy NFL season with all the parity. Pretty much, there's a way at this point where you could find, the Jets oh, they beat the Bengals, and the Bengals must have beaten this team, and so on and so forth, until you find all these top 5 teams. You say, oh, the Jets are better than all these teams. It's all happened already. Now we got to dig deeper, and that's what the show has been about today. So I hope you all enjoyed that. Don't forget to drop a like on the stream if you're still watching, and if you're watching this as a live video, don't forget to drop a like on that to push it out to more football fans just like yourself who would love to see the three of us talk NFC East, and subscribe so you don't miss any of the podcast shows. Get those notifications so you know when we are live. And Dan, you got anything to close it out?
Listen, man, guys, listen. It's week 9, still early in the season. The teams are cooking, and all we can do is talk about it and be right. This is what we do. Appreciate you guys showing up to the NFC East podcast. We're doing what we do all the time, and I'm going to catch you on the next one.
Peace out, guys.